what kit will you be wearing to watch the game on the early hours of Sunday morning? And, what's your favourite retro Scotland kit?
Oh no, always a professional. I'm working, so it'll be shirt and tie job. No, I'm not. I'm not a big one for wearing colours. I don't really care what kit Scotland are wearing on Sunday morning, just as long as they win.
I hope it proves a lucky kit, because Scotland have never won a game, a tournament in their away kit. And if it does, I might go and buy it.
Hello and welcome to the Scotsman's World Cup podcast on this Thursday afternoon, where we can finally say the World Cup has begun. That's right, the tournament does get underway this evening in Mexico City with a game between Mexico, the co-hosts. Of course, they'll be sparring with South Africa in the capital, and obviously that means there's plenty of excitement as Scotland's opener against Haiti is now just a mere few days away. To dissect all of the talking points ahead of the tournament, I'm delighted to be joined by Head of Sport Mark Atkinson. Mark, been a couple of days. How are we doing?
I'm good, thanks, Graham. How are you?
Yeah, really excited. I think it's whilst on paper Mexico versus South Africa might not be the most riveting game, I think Mexico City, the Azteca, amazing. Really looking forward to it. But I'm also delighted to be joined by Barry Anderson yet again. Barry, twice in 2 days. How are we doing? You all right?
Yeah, fine, Graham. You'll be sick of the sight of me by the time this tournament finishes. You can guarantee that.
Far from it. As long as you don't accidentally punch me when you're trying to get any signatures or anything like that, I'm sure I'll be absolutely fine, Barry. But Mark, look, as I said, it's finally World Cup Day. It's felt like it's been months getting there. We've been building up to it, talking about it. Now it's here. How excited are you for tonight's opening game, and obviously a fantastic arena to get it going in the 5 weeks ahead?
Yeah, it's an intriguing game. It's not the most glamorous of matches, let's be honest, but it does remind me of 2014. I think it's a reversal of when South Africa hosted Mexico, and there was a wonderful goal in that match by a chap called Shabalala, I think his name was. Barry might correct my pronunciation. He scored one of the goals of the tournament with the opening strike in a 1-1 draw in Mexico. I think if we get the same type of moment tonight, it'd be pretty good. Let's be honest, there's so many teams at this World Cup. There are going to be a couple of B-list, maybe even C-list matches, but I'm pretty sure most of us will watch the majority of them. Azteca Stadium is an awesome arena. I saw Barry put a tweet up earlier with footage of a game there in the 80s where I think there was more than 100,000 people there. That's the sort of arena we're talking about. It's one of football's meccas. Wonderful place. So it should be a pretty incredible moment, opening ceremony, and then we can look forward to the games that really matter for us.
Barry, we went over some of your memories of France 98 yesterday, and one memory you probably don't want to relive is obviously Scotland not getting out of the group stages, which at the time of speaking hasn't been done. But look, the excitement's sort of there. We're approaching that game against Haiti coming up in a couple of days. As we approach that first game, how confident are you feeling that Scotland can eventually get out of the knockout stages and sort of live in a place they've never been before?
I'll tell you on Sunday morning. I think there's because of the way this tournament's structured now, there's so much resting on this Haiti game for Scotland. For me, it's must win. I don't like heaping pressure on teams when a ball's not been kicked yet. But I just think that if you're not beating Haiti, then you get Buckley's chance of beating Morocco or Brazil. So therefore, nothing. You're not going to get anywhere. You have to beat Haiti and then hope that either 3 points is enough to go through, or you can scramble a point against Morocco or Brazil, which I think will be difficult, but not impossible. So much riding on this game for Scotland. 3 points, and yes, I think they've got a really good chance of getting out of the group. The key to any World Cup, European Championship progression from the group stage is winning your first game. Scotland haven't done that since 1982 when they beat New Zealand 5-2 in the opening game of the World Cup in Spain. So, that tells its own story, and that's largely why we have struggled.
Mark, same sort of question to yourself. I think in many ways, Brazil and Morocco are going to be really tough games, and you've got to play every team at some point. But is it kind of a disappointing thing, Mark, or not a disappointing thing, a difficult thing that the game against Haiti, where Scotland will be expected to win, they will be the favourites, that comes first because it adds that little bit of pressure, or is it a benefit that they can get those 3 points on the board nice and early?
I think personally, I wouldn't want to play Haiti first because they are going to be so fired up for it. We talk about how this is Scotland's best chance for a win. it's probably Haiti's best chance for a win too. And they'll know that. They're going to be passionate. They are going through a lot in their homeland right now. And I think I'd rather play them maybe in game week 2 or 3 where actually they've maybe had a difficult defeat from one of the bigger teams. I do think they'll be dangerous opponents because they have got a blank slate as well. And also you look at Morocco against Brazil, I think that game is awkward for us too, because if, say, for example, Brazil don't win, they'll almost certainly need something against us in the last match to either secure top spot or progression. So it's not an easy set of fixtures, but it's a World Cup. It shouldn't be easy. What Scotland need to do is just win this football match. It's as simple as that. Barry says you don't want to put pressure on teams by saying it's a must-win. It's not a phrase that I think we like to use a lot as journalists, but it's ultimately true. So, yeah, I think Scotland have to get 3 points and possibly need to get 3 points with 2 or 3 goals in the bag for the goal difference.
Mark, I want to stick with you. I was watching that really good Kevin Bridges documentary last night on BBC, which he's talking about the World Cup, and he goes to Brazil and he meets one of his heroes in Cafu, and it kind of got me thinking. There's always a breakout star at the tournament. The one for me at the top of my head, I can't remember which one it was, but James Rodriguez. No one knew about him beforehand, and all of a sudden he became a Real Madrid superstar sort of overnight, got signed by them. But I think Scotland have got a few young players within their ranks that, you know, there's a little bit of hope behind them. Ben Gannon-Dork's the obvious one, but you've got Tyler Fletcher there. There's other names as well that have ended the season really strongly. Who do you see as being Scotland's shining light that can sort of light up the tournament or for Scotland specifically, and why do you think it'll be them?
Well, you'd think that if we're talking about a youngster, Ben Gannon-Dork's the obvious one, given his age. But I think a lot of people do know about him already. He's commanded a huge transfer fee, was at Liverpool. He's got the kind of the gallus nature and also the tools, the speed, the trickery to be somebody that could potentially light up this World Cup from a Scottish perspective. But I actually think the man that could have a really good World Cup if everything goes according to plan is Lawrence Shankland. Now, he's only 30 years, well, I say only, he's 30 years old. He's not a rising star. Most people won't be aware of Lawrence Shankland. We obviously know a lot about him, Barry in particular. But I think if he can get himself a couple of goals in the opening match, he's going to really go on the radar for the global audience. And I think that's the man that I'm kind of hoping is our breakout player, because that will mean that Scotland are doing their job and scoring goals.
Barry, same sort of question to you. I suppose Mark touched on there, Lawrence Shankland, and I was listening to Ian Wright last night talking about Scotland's chances, and he said he feels like Lawrence Shankland is a player that Scotland haven't had for a long time, someone who can finish chances, someone who can kind of, the chances that Scotland get, he's got a better chance of putting them in the back of their net. He compared him to Ali McCoist and said he thinks it's the first striker of that ilk he's had since then. But you look at Shankland and he got 22 minutes at the Euros. It's not a great deal of time, but in those 2 years, he's changed so much. His leadership role with heart, and obviously it'll be Rangers next season of coming in leaps and bounds, and he's starting this tournament in a confident mode because he's got that 3 goals in 2 games. How big can Lawrence Shankland be, because he's coming off the back of a fantastic season with Hearts?
Yeah, I fully agree with what Mark said there. The impact that Shankland could have here, and the emphasis on could, is massive, because he's coming off another strong season with Hearts, and there will be a degree of frustration there, Graham. You mentioned about him not getting much game time at the Euros 2 years ago. That will have frustrated him, should frustrate him, because he was capable of more in that tournament, didn't get it. And so this is a kind of second chance, second bite of the cherry, if you like. I think Steve Clarke sees Shankland as a more prominent player now than he did then in Germany. So I expect him to play. I certainly expect him to start against Haiti. And well, what happens there can dictate what happens thereafter. But Shankland's the sort of guy who's got that type of McCoist. You mentioned there McCoist as an example, that instinct of where to be in the penalty area, where to position himself, how to get on the end of a chance, how to set up in the 6-yard box for a ball coming off a goalkeeper or off the post or whatever. And it's difficult to teach that. That instinct is sometimes just natural. And Shankland's got it. And I hope that, and I think that we should be in a position as a Scotland team where we can supply him through Ben Gannon-Doak down the right, through Andy Robertson down the left, potentially Finlay Curtis coming off the bench and offering more width on that side as well. So there should be opportunities there for Shankland to get on the end of things. We saw what he can do in the warm-up games against Curacao and Bolivia. So yeah, I think he's flying at the moment. He'll be, as Hearts fans will be massively disappointed the way that he's left, and I fully understand that. But Shankland himself will be elated that he's moved to Rangers and can go back there for next season. So his confidence will never have been higher, should never have been higher. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this tournament.
Mark, I know that you're a man that enjoys more than just Scottish football. I know that you're a fan of French football and so on. But as I touched on before, there's always a player that comes out, like I mentioned James Rodriguez there, that becomes a superstar overnight. Outside of Scotland, is there any young players or even maybe lesser known players that you're looking forward to seeing in this tournament now back into to have a big moment, shall we say?
Well, there's definitely going to be players that none of us are aware of. When you've got 48 countries, there's going to be someone that comes out of nowhere. One player who's not going to be there that I'm really disappointed about is Leonard Carl, the young German, who's really, really good. Bayern Munich, excellent player. He's going to be a superstar. We won't see him at this World Cup. The one that I think I'm most excited about, and you mentioned France, is Michael Olise. Now, I think people will remember Michael Olise at Crystal Palace. He was kind of playing second fiddle to Eberechi Eze. But this guy has been outstanding for Bayern Munich. And he scored a hat-trick for France in the warm-up matches. And everyone talks about Kylian Mbappe and maybe Ousmane Dembele for the French. I think this could be Michael Olise's tournament. So that's who I'm tipping to be the, maybe not breakout star necessarily, but the man that's going to light up this tournament.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. We did the Celtic Bayern Munich game last season or the season before, Jerry, you're classing it as, when he played for Bayern. I think he got the first goal, and like, what a footballer. I mean, he was good at Crystal Palace, very unassuming young man, I think, from his interviews. I don't think he necessarily likes the attention, but what a footballer, and he just really come on. I think he's close to over 40 goal contributions this season, which is ridiculous numbers no matter what level you're playing at. But I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't say it no Sadiki of Congo, but I'll leave that for another episode and another day. It is what it is. But Barry, I wanted to kind of touch on a bit of a fun one for both of us here, for all three of us, sorry. Scotland have been confirmed to be playing in their salmon pink, orange, lilac, whatever kit you want to call it, away to Haiti on Sunday. They're also going to be the home kit. There's a little bit of a conversation around the Haiti home kit, which has had to be redesigned and remanufactured, I think, because of the alleged political design on the front. But that Scotland kit sold out on JD Sports, not back until July. Hard to get hold of. I've told Alan needs to get me one. But since it's sold out, what kit will you be wearing to watch the game on the early hours of Sunday morning? And, what's your favourite retro Scotland kit?
On Sunday morning, I'll be wearing the strip that I've got from 1986, the 1986 World Cup, which is one of my favourites. And I'd probably tie that as at the top of the list with the 1978 kit with the Umbro diamonds down the sleeve. I just think that's just a brilliant kit, possibly the best. But my 86 one is my lucky one. And I wear that at all the Scotland games, so that's what I'm wearing. I think I'm a little bit baffled, to be honest, why so many people. I'm probably going against the grain here, maybe showing my age, but so many people are buying that away kit, and I do think it looks smart with the Adidas Trefoil logo. I just think it would have been so much better if it had been proper red, pillar box red, with navy blue stripes down it instead of the salmon pink with the purple. That's just a personal viewpoint, but everybody has gone mental for it, and they've been buying it. I've seen it at the Scotland games that I've been to this year. I was down in Liverpool for that friendly against Ivory Coast, and it was everywhere. There's more of that than there was the dark blue ones. So there's plenty of options now, isn't there? I like a retro kit myself, but it's obviously a good seller these days, isn't it?
I think it was interesting, Alan was touching on it yesterday, when you looked at the crowd for the Curacao game, you'd normally get all the Navy kits and it was like a sea of salmon, which is quite interesting. But I'm personally a big fan of the kit, but I understand where you come from with that. Similar to the Umbro red pinstripe one, I think that might have been even more popular. My personal favourite, the yellow away from France 1998. I don't know if that's a popular decision, but yeah, I think it's probably my favourite. But Mark, same question to you. 2:00 in the morning. I wouldn't blame you if you said you'd be wearing just pyjamas to watch the game on Sunday morning. But I think we'll all have a Scotland shirt on. And which one will you be choosing?
Oh no, always a professional. I'm working, so it'll be shirt and tie job. No, I'll I'm not a big one for wearing colours. That when I was growing up, I was a goalkeeper. So I like the goalkeeping shirts, and I think if the keeping shirts sort of in the mid-90s is where my ones would be, but I wouldn't wear a goalkeeping top at 2:00 in the morning, that's for sure. It'd be far too warm. I'm with Barry. I think the pink kit is overrated, and I would have made it red as well. I think that's a good shout. But let's be honest, I don't really care what kit Scotland are wearing on Sunday morning, just as long as they win. But let's be honest, I don't really care what kit Scotland are wearing on Sunday morning, just as long as they win.
I hope it proves a lucky kit, because Scotland have never won a game, a tournament in their away kit. So that's got to change. And if it does, I might go and buy it.
I'm going to hold you to that. If you can find it, if you can find one, please send one to me. I've asked a few of you now to go and grab me one. I think Alan's got the best chance of being over in America, where I think some American fans are still not 100% aware that the World Cup is on with the NBA and everything going, but I'm sure they'll find out come the early hours of Sunday morning or Saturday night as it is for them. But Mark, Barry, thanks for joining. I'm so delighted the World Cup's underway. If you have enjoyed the first 4 episodes of the show, you can like, subscribe. Please do share as well on your favourite podcast platform. And we look forward to speaking to you every single day at the World Cup. Thanks for joining, Mark, Barry. Speak to you soon.